with animals, family lifestyles, working life, variety forms of activities are going on. So in today's topic, enhancing, in other words, we want to enhance our safety by empowering the mind. We hear so much about the mind, and then we say never mind, because we are busy with so many things, and we say never mind. And people ask, would you mind? No, they use this word, mind. And then they'll say, mind your own business. So everybody have their own. So what is that which is the mind, which we people talk about so much, but it is the least understood, because it is a lot of introspection required. Then I've been doing a lot of that since a very young age of 10-year-old. I was a schoolboy, and I always have these funny feelings after 8 p.m. Before that, I'm just like a small boy, at the age of 10, moving around, walking around, busy doing homework, playing games. But when 8 p.m. came, suddenly there's like a pull. I'll have my dinner at 7:30 or 7:15, and 8 o'clock I'll just go out of the house. I will just look up into the sky. Just gaze at the stars, the moon. Just there's a feeling that now I should go and stay there. I should not come back here. That's a kind of pull, without understanding why. But in school, I have been introduced about the solar system and the earth, the sun, the moon, just that information only. So I'm just looking up, what is that beyond the sun, the moon? What is that energy there? What kind of energy level there? But during that time in 1969, you must have heard, those who are around that period, there was a lot of Apollo mission, sending a lot of rockets. We call it Apollo 1, 2, 3, whatever. 1969, they landed on the moon. So there was something which I was looking at, observing. What is that? What do they do there? And when we look from here, from Earth, all these heavenly bodies, we call it the stars, the moon, the planets, whatever. Some kind of attraction is up there. And we are here on Earth. So there's always a pull of wanting to know a lot of things. That is the exploration of space. So man has done a lot of exploration of space. But what about the exploration of the inner world? The outer world, a lot has been done. What about the inner world? What kind of safety can I give to myself? So I use this word self-introspection. So I will just sit out of the home looking at the stars and all that. This nice feeling, there's a nice feeling of relaxation, peace of mind, like that. I'll sit there for half an hour, 45 minutes. Then I will go back home to the home and just sleep. That's it. Next day, I'm like a normal boy. When 8 p.m. comes, it's like a pull. I didn't understand. So what is that inner energy which is calling for that? Am I feeling insecure? These questions arise in myself. Do I feel threatened? Do I feel I'm going through some difficulties? Because these are thoughts. The mind is responsible for creating thoughts. Just now in the video, you have been given a lot of information. So these are just treasures of spiritual energy or spiritual knowledge, which I acquired from the Brahmakumaris in 1985 onwards. But during the time from 1969 to 1985, there's a lot of things wanting to know. It's always asking. So studying is not a big challenge. I had health situation. My health was not so good at a young age. I was born asthmatic, so I used to go to get a lot of medications, this and that. At the age of 12, I almost passed away. My father rushed me to the hospital 12 kilometers away. And the doctor was saying, no, you're lucky you brought your son If you had been delayed for a minute, you would have gone, something like that. So I was just listening what the doctor was saying. Gone where? So I was wondering what is the meaning of gone. So death is not a question for discussion for that age. So these are questions which I couldn't understand what people talk about life. So you must grow up, you must become this and that, success in life. You need to have this, that, everything. So there was a lot of desires. Now there was also fear inside there. What if all this which I have is taken away? Because I hear a lot of news in the media of war, disease, and also threatened. Anything can happen to whatever. That means what do we have? We have our body, we have our properties, we have our family, brother, sister, mother, father. We can have our home. So anything can happen anyway. Just looking, reading, or even seeing all this information in the media gave me a feeling of insecurity. Because we can have it, we may lose it. Who am I? Like that. So these are questions which what it was bubbling. But I bumped into a lot of understanding about what people go through. I was also attracted to Mahatma Gandhi, a person of living life of non-violence, ahimsa. So didn't understand what is non-violence. Violence, I've got a lot of information, but non-violence. So non-violence to whom? To the external. What about to the self? If I'm worried, am I causing any violence to myself? If I'm angry, if I'm expressing all those things which I feel, it is my weapon to protect myself. And that's what the mistake I did. In the workplace, my boss taught me that you should control the people working in your staff, make them create fear in them so that they do what you tell them. I was not that, but I had little. So these bosses teach me how to do that. So I just did it without understanding that it is not me. So the results were shown, but then there was no happiness. So where's my security? So that is why I was searching for many years the answer to what is my real strength, what is my real safety in life. Because people are always living in fear, even though they have everything. So who can protect me? I want protection. We seek, we have fear for the health. We have fear for the relationships. What if somebody threatened me? Something like that. That fear was all there. Or if somebody kills me, or somebody takes everything away, what do I have? So all these questions, people ask, and they create a lot of security measures, safety measures. But who am I and what is the safety I need for my own self? Is my own thinking my friend and at the same time my enemy? So this question also arose. So it was in 1985 which I got this introduction about the self. Who am I and what am I doing? From where I came from? What is the purpose of life? Is there a higher purpose? Because we do a lot of things taught by our generation of, you see, generation. So much information they have gathered through history and from different lands. They gathered so much, classified as written documents called wisdom. Then there are also religious authorities, scriptures, holy, something very royal. So we should not have any fear, but then there is fear of doing, not doing. So there was a lot of things going on in my mind at that time. That created a lot of fear also. Why we should have so many systems. There are also culture-based and religious-based life controlled. Should parents control my life? Should authorities control my life? Should governing bodies or authorities control my life or the way of living? So this was a disturbance. Life should be very natural. So what is natural living? Then we say about freedom. I can do whatever I want. That means I'm giving freedom to my way of thinking. Hmm? Yeah, we have freedom to the way we are thinking. But then there's also systems. Someone always has a system to govern our way of living. Even if you want to stay in the jungle by yourself, there is also a natural law. There's day and night is one thing. You can't do things at night, you can't do things at daytime. So all these measurements are there. So am I really free to do whatever I feel I should do? What is real freedom? So these are questions which I was asking myself growing up. And when I was in A levels, so Dr. Reverend Dhammananda, the Buddhist high priest for Malaysia and Singapore, he's actually from Sri Lanka, from Matara. So he was playing the role of telling a lot of things about the mind. So we invited him in our college. So he gave a lecture on that. After that, I spoke to him personally. So he gave me a small booklet, how to overcome obstacles or difficulties. Just by reading, there was a lot of burden taken away. So that's where I found out. You have to change your way of thinking. It is I, the self. You see, that's why we say, I, the self, and then we say my mind. So who is this I? I, the self. We say soul, roh, or spirit, atma. These are different terms, but it is I, the master. Just now you saw in the video, the king, the Raja, who is the master over the mind. That's why I say my mind. And then there's a friend to the mind also, is called the intellect, my intellect. And they work together and perform actions, and they have a record of whatever we do in our lives. And that's called the personality traits. So when I got this introduction, I, the king, the master, has the power to have rule over the mind, the intellect, and the records which I have. We can interact. Then what else? I have this body. I have to perform action through the body. So these three things really help me. That am I the king over the self, or am I the slave? So these are questions which arise. So this study, or this is actually a study, because I've been studying a lot of things about the material world, the outer things, but what about the inner self? So this study really gave me a lot of benefit to understand who am I. Exploration of the inner world gave me a real safety to see what can cause me harm and what can relieve me from that harm. So it is really a good thing. And therefore, I was also introduced to our research material. There are very high percentage, I can't remember the percentage, psychosomatic illnesses. Many of the illnesses is due to the way I think. So that's why I found out my illness was, this is the main thing, it was due to a worry. Some habit was there from young age that caused a lot of difficulties for the body. Then it is psychosomatic. Once that is gone, then that's also gone. So there are many things like that. I can't remember the percentage. Maybe doctor might know. There's a certain percentage of all diseases. That means there's a percentage of diseases, psychosomatic. It can be taken away by changing your thinking. So that's when I found out, that the safety lies in our mind. So let me be very careful not to plant anything in the mind which can cause a trap. So this is the real safety. Because even I can have safety in all aspects physically. But in my mind, if I live in fear, I have so many friends in Malaysia, they are all very successful in terms of material gains, and so how, we call it now, PhD holders, many of them. But they say they can't sleep at peace. They have so many things. They acquired so many things, but they can't sleep in peace. So what is that we need to do? So we had discussions. Then you say you're lucky. You have got this introduction, no? Earlier. Hmm? So this is the good chance, for all of us to study this, the power of the mind. So that's why Dr. Nambananda, he was telling me, teach your mind. Hmm? You have to teach your mind. So your mind means who? So I'm the one who is going to be the teacher. So what does the mind need to be taught? So I need to understand this message about the power of the mind. What kind of thoughts the mind creates? Okay, basically there are four types: positive, negative, ordinary, and waste. They are all very interrelated. There's one more thought, which is called elevated thoughts, which we study in spirituality. And that's why I got this introduction and understanding. You can become the king only if you have understood yourself. If you have understood yourself thoroughly, not knowledge based, but experiential. That's the next step. As you keep practicing again and again, you will begin to understand who you really are. Because whatever I can say, it is not really who you are. Your inner strength, your inner ability is going to face many challenges in this world, as you can see in this world now. So many news. I hear a lot of news for the purpose of understanding what's happening so that I can explain to others. This is how you can manage. This is how you can handle according to your capacity. You can increase your capacity. So that is where I'm so happy that all of you have come here to listen to this little experience I have. I have a lot more because coming into this country to serve, as it was mentioned in the introduction, I came here in 1997 for 1 year. Then I returned to Malaysia. Then I went to Myanmar for 6 months. So all these places I gathered how people were living with a disturbed mind. It is not that they are comfortable, they are okay. No, even if they are comfortable, their still mind is disturbed. There's always fear. So what is really that a person needs? What do they really want? I was in Vavuniya once during the time of 1997. I was here during that 1 year because after that we can't go further. So we had a program in the library, and after the program, he spoke. He has done a lot for his family, his children, education, food, lodging, everything. Then after that, I just listened for very patiently and asked him one question. So all that you have done is very good karma. You have done very good thing for your family. Then the next question I put to him: what have you done for yourself? Yourself. Because whatever you have done for them, it's good. They will give return or may or may not give the return. But what have you done for yourself? See, he was silent for a few moments. Then he asked, Ayya, he says, nobody has asked me this question. You're the first one to ask me this question. Now I'm thinking, what have I done for myself? Which means, because we are living, we are of course like a family living, but you have to do a lot of things for yourself. There are many things you can't expect people to do for yourself, for you. In terms of course, there can be some help, but you have to help yourself. So that's why when Reverend Dhammananda was saying, teach your mind, which means what is the teaching the mind needs? It's not a basic thing, it is more very deep, detailed things. But we don't have to pressure ourselves. We have to learn it with love. So a lot of virtues are required. And that's why it was mentioned in the video, there is 7 qualities each of us have. And the mind needs to experience this and explore, along with the intellect. And that is the first thing is the knowledge. This knowledge is not the book of knowledge. This knowledge is the knowledge of the know-how of the mechanism of what's happening within you. The spiritual knowledge of myself and my existence, my coexistence with nature, with a higher power, with others. All are interconnected. So that is the first point of knowledge. The next thing is the mind has to create a pure thought, because purity is nothing but starts from the thoughts. External purity is very common. They just talk about it very well worldwide. But the internal purity of the power of the mind, it is pure thoughts. Higher than the pure thoughts is the elevated thoughts, which can only be given. This lesson can only be given by the higher authority. So all these points I was looking for. So first thing is knowledge. Next thing is the pure thought. Now, if you have such pure thought, the next thing is you will have peace, real peace. The real peace, which means my original religion is peace. Bodily religion can be anything. I can acquire any religion or belief system. But this is the innate energy within you. That peace within you is your original religion. And the foundation is pure thoughts, which is purity. So all these aspects I was able to understand who actually I am actually. Then the next thing, when you are very peaceful, you will feel very loveful. You will just give the feeling of love to everybody. And that love in the family, as in the humanity, even you can love animals, human beings. This love is what they require. This is a spiritual love. And such love, the next point will be the quality of happiness, the real spiritual happiness. So this is how it comes, no? The knowledge, the purity, and the peace, and then you have that love and happiness come. If you maintain that happiness practice, then you experience the bliss, blissful kind of feelings. Now the last one will be the seventh quality, will be power. So this is how you empower the mind, empower the self. So this topic tonight, empowering the mind, enhancing safety, live the freedom. Freedom is our way of life, which is connected with safety. We don't have to fear anybody, whether it is my illness or people or relationship or anyone. So this is the real ahimsa, non-violence living.